Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody had an absolutely amazing weekend. We are in for a special treat this morning. I am so excited to be able to share this with everybody. We've got an absolutely incredible person named Lance Phillips, Sealcoating, and he is just an absolute amazing guy. He's actually trying to reach me right now, and we're going to invite him on as soon as he pops on here. But let me tell you, today's topic is really, really exciting. I'm just going to let Lance know we're ready to go. Join in, Lance. Let's do this. Join my Facebook Live, and let's go. It's pretty cloudy here today down in Anguilla. We've got a tropical system that's going through, so if you hear any thunder or you hear any loud noises, it's just the storm passing by. How you doing, Corey? Hope all is well. Conrad, what's happening? Hope you're doing amazing. I'm just going to go ahead and share this out as we get started. Won't be very long, and we'll get going here in just a few moments. Lance is here. What's going on, my brother? Let me go ahead and bring Lance on. Here we go. Lance, you're going to be on in just a second here.
Judd, what's up, baby?
Lance Phillips, brother.
How are you, my man? Oh, we rocking and rolling, doing well. How about yourself?
Brother, we are doing so well, man. I was just saying we've got a tropical system blowing through here, so if you hear any thunder, hear any loud noises, it's just the God speaking from the heavens here, just giving us a little shout out.
That's right. Well, good deal, man. Thank you so much for having me, Judd. This is exciting. I was telling my wife last night, I never imagined that April of 2018, when I was going through YouTube trying to figure out what seal coating and crack filling was, and watching hours of your videos and kind of getting coached up before I even bought my first piece of equipment, that I'd be talking to you right now. So I'm fired up.
Brother, I'm so glad to be on here too with you, man. I've seen you on Facebook and posting your live streams and your videos, and just your sense of humor, the way you make people smile, and your drive and your ambition. It's just so inspirational, and we are so fortunate in this industry to have you in here with us and to have this time to be able to share with an audience. We have a lot of people popping on right now. Jason, Scott, Dayton, Justin. What's going on? Yes, Mr. Scott. Chase, what's up, my man?
Chase, my man.
Yeah, this is great. I'm just going to go ahead and share this out because I want to have some groups definitely know that this is going on. This is an important Facebook Live that we're doing, and of course it's going to be recorded, and we'll also push it out to all platforms, to our YouTube channel, the IG TV, and that'll all be out hopefully by tomorrow afternoon on the different platforms. So if you don't happen to catch this live right now, do know that links will be posted, and we'll make sure that you can watch this again, because I have a feeling there's going to be a couple golden nuggets that we're going to spit out here. And
man.
Yes. So I'm just going to share this out to Action Seal as well. Share it out to Daniel Group. Daniel Vanderwall, big shout out to you, man, for the U.S. Paving Group that you've got going on, man. That's just awesome. It's so good to see all these groups with all this positivity, all this energy, man. It's so nice to have this dark negativity pushed away. It's like happening every day.
That's right. I just saw my buddy Zay Johnson pop on here. What's up, Zay? Zay has played a huge role in the beginning of my business and the success of my business. That is an understatement. He's been a blessing to me and my whole family, much like all you guys have. But what's up, Zay?
Zay, what's going on? Tim Carter. Got Aline on. We've got Eric. Eric, lastly, what's going on? Hey, listen, if we don't happen to respond to everybody's, everybody's comments here, any questions that you have, do know that we'll get to them. We'll definitely get to them. It just might not be right now because we got some fun stuff to talk about. Just to introduce, I'm Judd Burden, own Asphalt Kingdom, started at 16 years ago, and really, the whole business, we're not focused on the retail side of the business. We are, but we're really not. Our change in direction for the company has really gone into exactly what we're doing now, which is how do we throttle and toggle the industry forward as a whole with incredible people like no other, Mr. Lance Phillips here from Precision. And so, Lance, why don't you go ahead and just tell people about, about yourself, maybe where you come from, if you don't mind, and, where you are now. And then I'd like to dig into some questions that I think will really instigate some incredible advice, hopefully, and some motivation for people watching.
Good deal. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was raised in a household. My father, which is Lance Senior, he's passed about 8 years ago. But I lived my whole life in a small business owned family. So my father pulled a covered trailer to a furniture factory. Would get off at 3:30 and go crawl around in attics and blow fiberglass insulation in attics. Every 6 days a week. Literally, he's the king. My mother and my father, they're some of the hardest working people I've ever met, and I was blessed to have that role models in my life. But when it comes to work ethic, it's a little easier to work hard when you've got that to look up to. With that being said, he is the inspiration to my business. So I was always attracted to the idea of owning my own business. And just one day, I kind of woke up. My wife and I were going to eat dinner, and I had been kind of milling around different ideas, maybe starting my own business. And I worked full time. Obviously, I was in marketing. We pull up to a restaurant. Somebody's parking a handicap, and I said, "Look at this jerk. He's 22 years old, walking in there, blocking up all the good spots, taking out Granny's parking." And she got out of the car and she said, "Well, you can barely see the lines." And I said, "Well, I ought to start me a striping business." She said, she just blew that off, So we go in there and we sit down and we're eating. And I'm like, "Seriously, I think I need to start a striping business." She said, "Well, do it." Never had a lot of money, I'm definitely a part of the group in most cultures, most cities and states. So check to check, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Made good money, but it never was like we could get ahead. So I felt like I needed a side hustle. To be honest with you, the most special time of the year for my daughter was the most stressful time of the year for me, which was Christmas. Buying gifts, paying bills, things like that. That's reality, It is what it is. So I did. We talked about it over dinner. I came home, got on YouTube. I was like, I'm fixing to figure out this striping business. Got on there, and the first video I watched was you were doing a video with a kid. I think he was 16.
Henry Connor, yeah.
Striping an apartment with a Titan. Little Titan, Bought one. Put it in the cart. I said, as soon as I can line up some business, if I can go and sell this service and close me a couple of accounts to justify buying this piece of equipment, I told my wife, I said, I'll buy it. So what I did is I added it to my cart. I went out that next day, which I watched a lot of videos that night, was addicted to.
Yeah.
I said, I want to see what's going on. So I went out and
So how long was that? Sorry to interrupt, Lance. So from the time that you actually watched that video to the time that you bought the machine, how long was that?
I closed an account that was $1,800 within 24 hours.
So from the time you decided that you were going to stripe better lines because that 22-year-old was parking in Granny's spot,
next day I went out and sold my first account.
Wow. So everybody, listen to that golden nugget right there, right? The decision, the choice to do it and not let anything impede or impact that choice. It was, I've decided to do this. I am going to do it. It's not just that mush thought. Okay, so now you close the account and you buy a striper.
Striper and a backpack blower and a steel broom. So we go out and we knock out that account, and I'll never forget, man. It was, I told him I was backed up. I said, it's going to be a little before I can get you taken. You're kind of faking it until you're making it. So I get the striper, lay out a tarp, man. I was scared to death. Anyway, set it up, spray some water through it, and I'm like, oh, it's a wrap. We about to go get this money. Anyway, so I go out there and knock out an account, and I just, it was one of those things with certain pieces of equipment, you just got to either go a little slower, take your time. But anyway, we go out there, and I enjoyed it. I tell people all the time when I go meet with these accounts, I tell people I would make a horrible farmer. I don't want to plant something and wait for it to grow. I like to go lay hands on it and see it when I'm done immediately. So I kind of enjoyed it. It's hard work, but I enjoyed it. But and it kind of just skyrocketed, man. I figured out my market, and I never did have a big enough investment to start it to intimidate myself. I always felt like if I'm backed into a corner, then I don't perform as well. Does that make sense?
100%.
So
100%. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I'm trying to, like, what I'd love to do is let's I want to back up to the early stages. So how long ago was this that you bought a striper and you literally laid your first stripe? How long ago?
April of 2017.
What's the date today?
It is what, August 2019?
August 29th, 2019. So you're talking just over a couple years here.
That's right. Well, me and my nephew, I've been blessed to have Alex Murfield. He's my nephew. He's been with me since day one. But we were laughing over Christmas how we were loading the back of a 2001 Chevrolet. Still intimidated by the whole process, but we're learning. And we were so pumped when we bought a van. We got a van. We started getting to carry more stuff. So, it blossomed, man. It's been such a blessing. But
so Lance, you made the decision to get started, right?
That's
and you
right.
can hear the thunder coming through probably my microphone right now. So I apologize for any thunder, but does it ever feel good? I feel like there's a lot of energy that's about to pop here. So you literally start this striping business because you made the choice to do it. So you saw that, first of all, you understood that there was a problem. The problem was that those lines were faded and not striped well, which meant that somebody was parking in Granny's spot in the handicap spot because they didn't really see that it was striped to be a handicap spot.
That's right.
So you identified a problem, and that wouldn't be the only spot that would be faded throughout the country.
That's right. That's right.
There's a lot of faded spots and a lot of oxidized asphalt and a lot of cracks that are wide open, allowing water to get in and erode the foundation, cause further damage.
That's exactly right.
So you identified a problem, and then you thought of the solution. The solution was that you were going to get a striper and close a deal. Did you close the deal before you bought the striper?
Oh yeah, I had to justify the purchase. I wanted to make sure it couldn't be a little. I didn't want to buy something, just spend money, blindly, because I literally knew nothing about the business. At the time, I didn't know what Sealcoating and crack filling was either.
What kind of marketing job did you have, Lance?
Well, see, I started out. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I know a lot of my friends and family are going to say this, and a lot of people know my story, but it's not something I talk about because I'm not real proud of it. But I don't have that big education, so I had obstacles going into my professional career coming up. So I had to actively search for a job where I knew I could clean bathrooms, I could deliver groceries, I could do whatever I needed to do. But I wanted to be strategic, and I'm going to talk about being strategic throughout this videos because, I had to have kind of a game plan for my life and then implement it in with my business. But I got my first job cleaning toilets, but they had a small sales force. And I said, if I can go in here and just work really, really hard and be respectful, I might get an opportunity in sales. Worked at this one place for 11 years. Started there when I was 19, selling tobacco, cigarettes, wholesale groceries. But I started there cleaning toilets for 2 years. Then I sold for them for 9 years. And again, to go back on my education, anybody that's in marketing, they kind of always want to get into the medical field. Well, I never even considered it because of my education. Well, one day I said, I want to get into the medical field. I've got all this experience. I'm 25, 27. I'm sorry, I'm 31. I'm fixing to get into the medical field. So I applied, went to some interviews, and then I started selling hospice for a medical company, which is End of Life Care. Loved it. Wow. I had an experience with it, similar situations with my father, and I had a passion for it. Selling End of Life Care is kind of what pushed me into getting started with my business because we only get one life to live, and I'm gonna refuse to die and not do what I feel like is gonna make me feel successful and proud, and it's just
I
taking
have
advantage of
goosebumps
it.
all over me, brother.
That's right. But yeah, it's such hard work in this industry, and I was thinking about things I wanted to talk about with
Yeah.
everybody that are in our industry, and that's one thing I've done is that when I make money, I think about what equipment I need to go to the next level. But the most powerful piece of equipment that we've got is ourself. You know,
Yes.
that's it. It's us that has to sell this product. Yeah, we can identify something, but we have to present ourselves in a way where we have confident customers. So
Yeah. It would have been so easy to buy the striper first and sit there and play on Facebook and watch Netflix movies and not make that call to close that $1,800 deal. It would have been that easy. But it
that's
was
right.
that easy. It was that easy for you to
Mm-hmm.
close the deal
Yeah,
and get
that's
that
right.
closed because you were providing a solution to a problem and investing into the equipment that you needed to essentially be able to do what it is that you sold. You see, I see so many people spending an enormous amount of time on Facebook, on Instagram, and on these different social platforms doing things that are twiddling their thumbs when their true goal is to be able to have freedom and to be able to leave legacy behind. You can't do that if you're sitting idle and doing things that are burning the most valuable asset in your life, which is time. We have time, right?
That's exactly right.
And if we don't spend that time, if we don't invest that time versus spend it, then we're going to be sitting here idle. And so, we appreciate everybody on this Facebook Live right now, on this social platform. But when you do get off of this and you do watch the golden nuggets that are coming out, it's about taking action and following through with something that you thought about to be able to create the freedom in your life. So, man, making that decision to buy that striper after you close the deal was the first steps in really growing the plan. So I want to hear, and I know everybody wants to hear, you don't only have that small striper anymore, do you?
Oh no, I gave that striper. And it's 4 or 5 hours away. It was a 15-year-old kid. It's a buddy of mine. His son was wanting to start. He'd been cutting yards and everything, and I hadn't been using that. I had upgraded. Um, I went to a 3400 series striper, and then I've got the bigger one with the cart. When I started getting a covered trailer, and I would always base my next purchases off the business that I have in line. Does that make sense?
100.
Line them up, grading that striper, and that's been the kind of the game plan with my whole business. Got a covered trailer, and that was a big deal because now I got something I can wrap and put my number and my information on, and it just started taking off. But yeah, I gave that striper to a little guy in Jackson, Mississippi. So.
And so from there, what did you invest into? Was it a seal coating spray system, crack repair equipment? How long after that first?
I'm sorry, I've lost you. I had a call come in. I apologize.
That's all right, no problem, man. So basically, you full-fledged asphalt maintenance company gets formed after this. How long after that striper, that purchase and that job? How long after did you actually grow into providing, complete service offerings for asphalt maintenance?
I actually looked at that this morning, April, and I keep saying April because I try to base my growth by that April. I kind of like it's a milestone for me. So 2 years ago, I started striping, and through that first 12 months, I got to move up to my third striping unit, and then I got a covered trailer. Well, once I got my covered trailer, and I was getting striping calls again. This whole year, I say this a lot. I've never even smelt seal coat, and it hadn't even crossed my mind to crack fill and seal coat because I was still working in the medical field. I'm in sales. I've got a great job, and I've got a perfect side hustle. I can go work in the evenings, stripe some parking lots, work on the weekends, and I still don't have to get. And I put my number on there, and I got a couple calls for some seal coat jobs. And I wanted to stripe it, of course.
Right.
So I started Googling. I looked up some seal coat companies near me, and I was trying to, I didn't even sub them out. I made no money on the seal coating and crack filling. I just want to stripe it. And I explained that to my customers because I didn't want to put myself in the position to where another man's quality of their work, especially with something I know nothing about, is going to be a reflection of me learning. So I started subbing out, I think 2 of them, and I was like, man, I've got to check into this. They're starting to call for crack filling and seal coating.
That was this summer?
Research.
This summer?
That was last March when I decided to start looking into it. So, like I did with the striping, when I found you and the little guy striping, I got on YouTube and I started typing in seal coating. Zay Johnson popped up. Boom. He had posted something on YouTube. And it was this huge nightclub and he had this drone up. And I said, that's sick. And it was crack filled, seal coated, and striped. And it looked awesome. I go in his little description and I find zebra striping. And then I go to Facebook and I look up zebra striping. Anyway, I found my original message that I sent Zay Johnson April of 2008. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, April 17th, 2018. And Mr. Zay, this is Lance Phillips. I live in North Mississippi. I'm considering getting into seal coating. And he immediately hit me back. He said, man, anytime I can help you, give me a call. This is my number. Well, I said,
wow.
Right there, that's my end. You know, I've got a mentor, you know, somebody that's going to help walk me through the process. So I told my wife, same conversation. I said, hey, babe, look, I'm going to go out here and sell this seal coating and crack filling. I said, if I can get me a good account, can we look at buying some equipment? She said, yeah. I go out, and that next week I closed. My very first account was 88,000 square feet. Again, I've never laid eyes on the process. Terrified. But I closed the account. I got the business. So I start making my calls, reaching out to you guys. But, you know, I spoke with you throughout this process.
Yeah.
Zay, he laughed. I remember he got so tickled when I called him. I said, hey, I'm thinking about buying this equipment. I've got an 88,000 square foot job. Is that a good one? And he just started laughing. He said, yeah, that's a good one, Lance. You need to go ahead and get your equipment. So that's where that started.
Wow, man. That is so incredible. So then you start, and was that a crack repair job as well?
It was everything. I had that poor little rhino out there. I bought rhinos, melter pots. Because, I mean, I wanted to get it all. You know, I said, okay, you know, let's just do it, you know.
Right.
And it wasn't, you know, I could justify the equipment with a couple of jobs, you know, like that. So we jumped off in it. And I'll never forget, I've never had a nice truck. My newest truck was a 01 red Z71. Last March, that's what I was driving, you know. And I told and I'll never forget when I got my tanker loaded, and I remember I put it on my back of my truck. It looked like my truck was fixing to shoot off to the moon. It was horrible, so unsafe. But anyway, it led into my first truck, and I told my wife, now I'm kind of figuring out,
wow,
you know, this isn't necessarily a niche market, but if you market this kind of service well, you can show out. So
a lot of asphalt, a lot of pavement out there, man.
It is, man. Sky's the limit.
Lot of pavement. And so do you know, I guess there's a question that popped in here, and it's a really, really important one. Because, you know, I know there's so many people watching this that either own a business or, you know, considering starting a business. And it's daunting. It's scary for a lot.
Terrifying.
You know, it's terrifying. There's a lot of fear. There's fear of failure. There's fears that we go through where you feel alone. And I think that one thing that you just shared here was you took the time to reach out to Zay, and Zay Johnson, he didn't come back to you saying, hey, deposit $10,000 into my PayPal account for the advice. You know what I mean? And I
offered him, and that's the thing, offered him money and he turned it down. He said, man, I want to help you. He said, it's going to come back to me.
There's a lot of great people, man, in our industry, brother.
A lot of great people. And when we talk about terrifying, I'm going through that right now.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Striping led into the seal coating. Seal coating led into asphalt, of course. You know, when you go to marketing, seal coating, and crack filling, now you're getting requests for pothole repairs, and you're getting requests for driveway. Yeah. So I knew I was so scared because last summer my wife worked the third shift. She worked third shift at an hour from the house. third shift is a nightmare when you have a 7-year-old at the time, and I've got to work at night because one of my selling points is I'm going to do what I got to do to not interrupt your business.
Right.
So I got a lot of work. I spend a lot of money babysitters, and then you got babysitters watching your kids at night.
Sure.
And my wife was fortunate enough; she got to quit her job, and she works full time with me, paperwork and taking care of scheduling and things. But so she did that, and then I took the plunge. I told Shay, I said, well, we've got a legitimate business, and I'm killing myself working full-time job and going to Sealcoating now at night. And then I started losing my personality, and I just felt exhausted because I was working so much, and I was getting a lot of accounts. And so I took the plunge. I turned in my notice, and now we went full-time. Well, when I did that, I really started treating my business like a real business then. I wanted to wrap my truck. And guys, that's literally been the best thing that I've done for my business.
Branding. Man, Alex and I just did a thing on branding, brother. Tell people about that.
Well, there's so many variables to actually, when you say branding, I'm thinking of 20 things pop off in my head, but the most important things is to me is number one, how you present yourself to a customer. A confident customer will spend more money. So you gotta educate yourself in order to educate a customer. So
Yeah.
that was big. That was big for me. Cleanliness of equipment. I tell the guys all the time. It's hard for us to expect somebody to cut us a great big old check if we roll up with filthy equipment. If we're out there working with shirts off. If we're out there going to the bathroom in the bushes. When I wrap my truck, that's when the business, it kind of shot, is because now people drive by and they see a wrapped vehicle. You got to be strategic with everything. There's such a strategy to even having a wrapped truck. Where you park it? Where are we going to park this truck where we get the most exposure while we're working today? So we started looking at all that stuff. But cleanliness, man. Present yourself like you've already met your personal goal of what you want your business to be. Speak to people with respect, educate them, clean your equipment, keep your equipment clean.
Brand everything.
Everything.
Tell me pet peeve.
So, pet peeve of mine is, it's how we present ourselves on the job site. We've gotta be respectful. And you know what, guys? The power of a smile is contagious. That is, I've gotten so many accounts from people driving by. 90% of them just being nosy. Because we're already a burden to everybody around us when we're working. We're an inconvenience because they're having to drive around or they're having to walk an extra 3 feet to get around us. But then they'll cut their eyes sometimes at you like, oh, y'all out here blocking off everything. And I'll smile real big and I'll say, good morning, how you guys? And those same people that give me the stink eye come back out and say, do y'all do work for Asphalt Driveways? Yes, ma'am, we do. So smile, present yourself like you're meeting goals, man. We all have goals. So.
Wow, that's huge. It's something you don't hear very often. And man, it's so easy. It's so easy to just smile and be happy, man. It's so easy if you just decide to do that. Man, we've got a lot of people on here right now, Lance, and I know that smile that's coming out from you is contagious for everybody there. So, that's a great tip for the day, man. When you're handing over a proposal or you're just out and about doing your thing, opening a door for somebody, just smile. And, say good afternoon, say good morning, just be polite, and be positive. And that, I'll tell you what, the first time that I met you in person, you literally made me feel better just because of that energy, that happy, awesome, high, smiley energy, brother. That's so magical. And
that's right.
And it's something to learn from for sure, everybody. I mean, we've got Nicholas Ryan who's pulled off the freeway just to tune in on this right now.
Nicholas, right? What's up, my guy?
Yeah. So
hey, man, all the guys, real quick, man. Thank you to everybody in these forums and these different platforms that we're members of. Look, I learn everything from these guys, and like you said, we've got some that negative Nancy's, and we got some that are so quick to reach out and be a big help to me. So thank you guys a lot.
Thank,
A lot.
thank you for, I mean, that impacts the industry as a whole, and really, helping somebody who is getting into the business or somebody who is already in the business allows us to push the industry forward. I keep saying this, it's about toggling the industry forward. All it does at the end of the day is benefit everybody, including the customer, right? I mean, that's
right.
it,
That's
right?
right.
And so there's a really important question that came in from Simon. And it's, during this journey from the time that you laid that stripe with that machine, that small machine, Powerliner 850, to the time where you're sitting here right now, were there any times where you felt like giving up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. This is hard work. From everything, the getting up early and working real late, the sunburn. See, there's so many things that goes on that I never had a clue of. I never will forget. I remember his name. He called and asked me, how I was getting some of these bigger accounts and everything, and I said, pressure. Keep the pressure off of me. He said, well, what do you mean? And I told him, I said, and I think everybody agree with me, what's the easiest account for somebody that seal coat, crack fill, and stripes parking lot? What is the easiest account that we do? I'm going to tell you, but I think we all know it's a church. Wednesdays and Sundays is all you gotta be mindful. It's got to be dry before Wednesday. It's got to be dry before Sunday. So, and he said, yeah, you're right. I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, when's the last time you cold called a church? He said, well, I hadn't in a while.
Yeah.
When I started my business, I went to every church within 100 miles of my house. Before I bought my equipment, I knew that it's got to be a church. It's got to be a church. I knew that from striping. They're easier to work. So, cold calling, man. Everybody says, "Oh, you must have a good Google or a good marketer for your websites and stuff." I don't, and that's my next investment. Is I'm gonna partner up with somebody that's gonna help build me a brand that I do get Google calls, but 90% of my stuff comes from cold calling. Coming back from vacation this winter, I told my wife in that car, Shay Phillips, if you're watching this, you better verify and make sure they don't look like I'm lying.
Here. She's here.
But I got this iPad and it looks like a 32-inch flat screen. And I told my wife, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm fixing to go in one of my little areas that's real close to my house." I said, "I'm fixing to get on Google Earth and I'm about to find the biggest asphalt parking lot I can get my hands on." And I said, "I'm going to measure it. I'm going to present a quote. I'm going to present this quote like they called me to come and give it to them." And I got on there and I said, bingo, and I had to zoom in to see what business it was.
Sure.
And I zoomed in, and I did it one time, and I closed that account. And Shay was laughing.
You closed it?
I closed it. It was 449,000 square feet.
Hold on. Let me
Just
understand
finished.
this.
Just finished it about 2 months ago.
Let me understand this. So they'd never called you.
No.
You went on Google Earth right from the comfort of your own home.
In the car coming back from Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
And
she was driving.
And you created a proposal, and then you went and presented that proposal, and you showed up with your brand, you showed up with your smile, and you actually walked in that front door, delivered the proposal, and they granted you the project.
Yeah, well,
how long did it take to close that deal?
We got, these days may not be exact, but we're going to call it, say we got home on a Monday. Sure. And so when I present a proposal, I've realized something. Ease and convenience to make a decision usually gets you the job. And what I mean by that is, when I was putting that proposal together, we got home, we were on our way home, Shay was driving, and I found the account on Monday. Tuesday morning, real early, I get up and I print off and I put it in a professional letterhead quote form. That night when we got home, I ran up there and I drove the parking lot, walked the parking lot, looked at the cracks, determined how much money I need to charge to make money on fill in those cracks. Got my measurements through an app, through Google Earth, did the measurements, double checked it with my wheel. Went up there late after they were closed.
Wow.
And so I got my numbers, came back Tuesday morning. I put it together. I was fresh off of a 4-day vacation. I'm fired up. We're about to go get it in. So
Sure.
Tuesday morning, I wake up, I print it off, and I've learned something. Make it easy for these people to make that decision. So when you print off that quote, they're going to need a W-9.
Sure.
Save that lady in the office that email and time that she's going to have to send you in 6 months to ask for it. Put it in there with it. Put your proof of liability insurance in there with it. Put a PDF together, some before and afters, So I went in there Tuesday morning and I Googled the business owner's name. I Googled it, saw what the owner's name was, and I walked in and it was lucky. I got lucky, but I did. I walked in and I asked if Mr. So-and-so is here. Is he here? So I can speak with him. I wanted to drop something off with him. They said, yeah, let me see. He stuck her head over there. He was sitting in his office. He said, send him in. Shook his hand. I said, hey, listen, you guys have a beautiful business here. I said, me being a small business owner, anytime I have an opportunity to do any kind of work for something like this, it's only going to help grow my business. I said, this quote is good for tomorrow or next year, but will you please do me a favor and hold on to it for me? Well, he told me to take a seat. When he told me to sit down, that's a wrap. We about to close this one. But yeah, I went and gave it to him. Went and gave him his quote, and that has worked more often than not. I live by that. I live by cold call.
That is
make
incredible.
It easy on
there's so much power in discipline, right? There's so much power. If you're disciplined and determined to actually just do what you know you need to do, the results are outstanding. Like if you think that somebody's going to see an ad on Facebook or Google Ads or in a newspaper and you think that that's enough to really grow a business to provide you with the freedom that you're looking for, it's not accurate. It's not going to do what you truly want it to do. The cold calling, the actual grind and hustle needs to be there with any business. Otherwise, you're just sitting there waiting for something in an idle position. And that's not what you did, right?
That's so true. No, that's not, and that's not what I'm going to do. It's real easy to become complacent and get real comfortable in the current moment and lose sight of what gets you there and lose sight of what's going to keep you going. One thing that, and this is more of a recent thing that I just started, a light bulb went off a couple months ago. I told my wife, I said, it's so important that we do as good of a job as we can possibly do. It's so important that I get on USA Sealcoaters and US Sealcoaters and all these different platforms, and I look and I'm mindful of what good work looks like, and I admire what great work looks like, and I strive to be the best. So you have to always set your ego to the side and be willing to learn, because you'll get left in the dust real quick. But a couple of months ago, I did something, and I'm gonna, and y'all asked me this in 3 more years, but we're gonna see if this is gonna pay off. But I feel real confident with it. On your big accounts, and I just started doing it, don't be the guy that goes and gets that account and collects that check and bounces. This is reoccurring business. So my book of business, my goal is to have a book of business where I almost cringe when my phone rings, because I'm 3 years into my business and now I've got that 500,000 square foot job calling me, hey, it's time. So what I started doing is you have to cherry pick them, and it sucks spending $500 to feed a staff of 30 employees. But after you collect your check, after you got that check,
right,
schedule a luncheon and tell everybody thank you. I had cashiers that I never met. I had people that worked in the company. They didn't know me from Adams. Matter of fact, half of them were probably cussing me the whole week because they had to park somewhere different for this next 2 days.
Yeah.
So what I did is I went in, and I've been doing it, and it costs some money to do it, but it's an investment into my business. I go in there and I feed everybody. Get it catered. You're going to drop 500 to feed 40 people, so get ready for it. But I feed everybody. I schedule it with the owner, and they look at me cross-eyed. They say, man, you don't have to do that, but thank you. And I tell everybody
What an
thank you for the
investment.
opportunity. Yeah. So I'm hoping that pays off, and then, this big account that I just did, the most proud I've been since I've started my business is when I got done with it. He said, Lance, in 36 months, every 3 years, he says, you can shoot me a text message and let me know when you want to start it, but go ahead and put it on the books for 3 years from now.
Now,
I
how
fed them. Man, if I could have got some lobsters somewhere, I would have fed them some lobsters.
you almost need to do a little dance for that one, right? I mean,
That's good.
so
Follow
lay
up.
that out. So basically, follow up, right? Follow up and making sure that you're following through with actually not just closing the deal, grabbing the check, and then running, running from the job with that money, but actually being able to show how grateful you are for for that. I mean, for the job, the trust, the capability, and that's something that's super magical, man. Yeah, I've got a little son. You know what? You're family man too. I'm on a Facebook Live here, and my son's in the bedroom with his little brother, and he just came out and he wanted to say hello, but he ran back to the room. But I usually try and get stuff done outside, do a little bit of stuff outside. But today, let me tell you, man, as I was saying at the beginning, I don't know if you can see out there, but it is just gray and rainy.
That's rough.
Can't do much asphalt sealing in that rain.
Now, I saw where Chase Hardiman had just got on here too, and I wanted to give Chase Hardiman a shout out with H&H Paving. He's been a blessing to me as well, much like Zay was for Sealcoating. So as I went in when I quit my job, and my wife quit her job, I would lose sleep at night, and I had a lot of business lined up.
Wow.
And I'd lose sleep at night thinking about this off season. I'm coming into my first off season last winter. So when I'd save my money, and I knew how much. Guys, you got to write down how much it costs to live. And I knew I had to have this much money for 4 months. So I was getting these calls for pothole repairs and asphalt, and I told my wife, I said, we're about to do it again. She said, a third time? What are you going to do now? Start cleaning windows? I said, no, we'll talk about that later. But I said, we're fixing to get a paver. So I started shopping for pavers. Guys, I have bought a Leeboy 8515. I
What?
know nothing about it. Yeah, and a brand new cat skid steer, milling attachments,
How much do
dump
those
truck,
things cost, man?
trailer, a lot. But I've been pretty smart with my money as far as, again, keeping business lined up is a lot like building debt. You can back yourself in a corner, because I've seen and I've heard stories where it turns into a nightmare for them. So try to pay as much as you can and buy equipment. But I've had this equipment I've had the paver for 6-7 months. I've had the skid steer for a couple months, so I went out and marketed it, and terrified, losing sleep. This is a big investment.
Big investment.
So I'm reaching out, and I linked up with Chase Hardiman. He reached out to me, and met him at the expo in Nashville. And now
Yes,
he's
sir.
legit top 3 buddies of mine. Like, he met me in Nashville to go do 4 Pizza Huts with his tanker, because my other tanker was tied up and wouldn't take a dime. He's that dude. We're just tight. You gotta network within these communities. Be respectful. You don't want to call a guy 30 miles from you, because obviously
Wow.
be mindful. But Chase has been a big deal, and here I am with all this paving equipment, and I've got to get experience with it. So I'm super excited about that. I've got 31 driveways that 15 are committed, 15 are waiting for me to follow up on. I'm kind of reeling it in a little bit,
Wow.
because so Chase is going to be visiting their attorneys and sign some paperwork. We've got some monster projects coming up, and me and him are fixing to
Wow.
partner up and smash some asphalt the rest of this year. So
Pound
thank
the
you,
pavement.
Chase. Yeah.
Man, listen, Lance, you know, through this journey, there's, you know, I've heard on this interview and this live, this freestyle that we're doing, there's been adversity, there's been challenge. It hasn't been perfect. It has not been perfect, right?
Absolutely not. No.
Right. And you know, I think that that's the thing. We've spoken about this quite a bit, but there's always pain involved with the journey of accomplishing your goals, no matter what it is, regardless of what it is, right? Whether it's you know, you're going to run a marathon, whether you're going to start a business, whether you're wanting to build a house, whether you're wanting to do a 400,000 square foot project with, you know, dealing with overspray issues. I mean, don't expect life or your business or one that you're considering to start. Don't expect that the road will be perfect. It's not going to be. So
not even close.
Not even close, man. But you know, the true people and business owners that stand out are the ones that actually only curl up in a ball for a few moments, get up, puff the chest up, look at the people in the network around them, reach out, communicate, create a team, create culture that's really, really incredible. And if you do that and you overcome those little hurdles or big hurdles, you'll only gain more strength, more experience, and you will really be able to create that freedom that you're looking to create in your life. I mean, I can tell you on my side, nothing's perfect. I've had to move from outside where I was getting soaked just a few minutes ago to come inside my living room doing this Facebook Live with you, Lance. It's not perfect. Life is not perfect, you know? And I think that we really need to be able to embrace that, you know, we try our best and we always strive to be the best person that we are, and we want to leave legacy behind and we want to do all that. But in order to do it, you've got to experience and feel the pain of going through this journey. You have to. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I think that you and I could just, you know, stay on here for hours and hours, but I think the right thing to do here is if there's, you know, something else you want to share, let's share it. But I think that, you know, on these social platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, just like Zay did with you and Chase did with you, you know, it's just pay it forward, and you have been, and we're just so grateful for that, you know.
That's right. And listen, I know you're busy, Judd, and look, it is humbling that I'm getting to speak with you now. I'm so pumped about it. But seriously, thank you for what you've done for the industry. Thank everybody that's in the industry that's you know, helped me through some of those tough times we were just talking about, because there's, Lord knows, you're going to be faced with them. And I know I've called people in absolute panics that I've never even met. So you just got to stay positive. Hey, don't forget to smile. That stuff's contagious, man. It'll get you business too, so do it.
Yeah, 100%. Lance, listen, one thing that I do want to tell you, and I've told you this on private message and stuff, but I'm going to do this publicly right now, man. I am so proud of you, bro. I am like so proud of you, man. And
I'm proud of my business, and I'm proud. I'm proud of myself, man. I'm proud of it.
That feels good. I have goosebumps.
Feels good.
Again. Yes, man, for sure. And you know it. Like, I've seen people typing on here, you're one of the hardest working men that they've ever seen. And it's not just the hard work, it's the smart work and the, you know, the happy, motivational, inspirational energy that you share. So with that, I just want to thank you again, man. And thank you for all you do for the industry. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we look forward to definitely seeing you in the groups, seeing you on our pages. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. If you're, you know, feeling a little bit rough and you need some inspiration, I know somebody who can send you a picture with a smile for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's both of us. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. You can join USA Sealcoaters on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out everywhere. Lance is on all platforms too. So definitely keep in touch, everyone. Lance, you're a absolute superstar, man. We appreciate you.
All right, man. Love you guys. Y'all kill it.